I'm Daemonxel, and this is your Eve Echoes weekly news update, where we take a deep dive of all the happenings of the week. But first, if you can tag that subscribe button, ring that bell, share and like the video, you can stay up to date with everything that this channel has to offer. Now, a little update on the little pilot. He is doing good. He is just getting over a sinus infection, him and his big sister, and he's just in a world of hurt right now, just coughing up everything. But between coughing spasms, he is smiling, he's laughing, his little legs are going. He wants to run, but he has to crawl first. But yeah, he's doing fantastic, and that's all the update I have for him right now. Now, we did have our weekly maintenance. There was no patch notes, so we can move on to exactly what happened this week, which was the big Freighter Raid 2.0. Captain Benzie was up first on the 18th, and I followed him on the 19th. Captain Benzie flew, I believe it was a Providence capital ship. Now, we did run into some technical difficulties during his stream, and after the first few minutes, his stream got the spinning circle of death, unfortunately. Now, he did record the show, I believe, so you can go to his channel and rewatch it. But he was found and killed a little after 20 minutes, and some officer loot did actually finally drop. It was the only time in the 4 Freighter Raid events that this actually happened. Now, he was found and killed by Hunk in a fleet of 37 people. The final blow of Benzie's ship went to Shea Halund, who was the FC of the Hunk fleet that took it down. Now, my event happened the next night, and it did go on without any issues. I am happy that everyone enjoyed the stream and everyone had a great time. I was found and killed roughly a little after 20 minutes, around 21 minutes or so. My ship went down. Unfortunately, no officer loot happened there, and was also killed by the same Hunk fleet. It was a second fleet of 25, but I believe it was someone from Pantheon who got the last kill. Unfortunately, I don't have the kill mail in front of me with the last shot, the final blow. But both freighters went down. Everyone had a great time. The event went off, sometimes without a hitch. Now, some interesting facts on all 4 Freighter Raids. Genesis got 2, Hunk got 2. Between both groups, a neutral party other than their fleet was able to kill the final blow on one of the freighters. Now, there was a few things to note. We did notice that the devs loaded up the freighter with a bunch of rigs, and as we can see from all 4 events, the rigs never dropped. So it's just basically ISK inflated kills with these rigs that couldn't drop. Moving forward, we would ask the devs if they wouldn't stock the freighters, if they're going to do more freighter runs, with items that would never drop or has a 0 drop rate. That's something definitely we need to look into for the future. Now, some behind-the-scenes things on this event. It was actually the night before that we got everything sorted. You see, originally they were going to give us an account, then just rename the account to the pilots that were flying. This is how they worked with Hawk Nest on the second Freighter Raid. It was an account linked to a Twitter account. Unfortunately, with Captain Benzie living in Zimbabwe, myself here in the US, and the Tailless Fox, the dev who was spearheading this event, he was in China. Between all 3 locations, Twitter basically locked down that account, so we weren't able to access it. Also, the devs' plan B also fell apart, so they were worried that the event wasn't going to happen. When I just suggested, why don't we, Benzie and I, use our main accounts to pilot, and this way it would be a true Captain Benzie and Daemonxel kill mail. They loved the idea, and that's how we were able to use our own accounts to fly this freighter raid. Fact 2, we were both transported on separate at separate times to a closed-off system called Polaris, which is a dev-only system. It has about, I believe, 7 or 9 stations, but there's no way in or out of the system other than a dev transporting you there. We entered into the labyrinth via Polaris, which put us inside the middle of that labyrinth. So again, in closing this up, I'm happy that everyone had a great time during this event, and we hope the devs are going to run more events like this in the future. And on a complete side note, if anyone is looking to buy a slightly used, authentic Daemonxel Charon freighter, I have it parked in Jeddah, and I'm selling it for $14 billion or best offer. Please DM me through Discord or in the game if you're interested in purchasing this one-of-a-kind freighter used in a live event. That's right. I'm not sure if it was an oversight or anything, but I saw it on my lost mail that it was, I could use my insurance points to revive the ship, which I did, and then I piloted the 11 jumps from Ivadi all the way to Jeddah, and it was a slow roll trip, let me just tell you that. So again, if you are in the market for a freighter, feel free to contact me. Now we're going to move on to the weekly developer Q&A. Now there were some interesting questions that were asked and answered. The first of which was any future plan of mining events that would tailor more towards the industry side of things. And the devs liked the suggestion, and they said they're going to consider adding such events to the game where players can see maybe an increased yield or boosted mining speed or other special buffs to the industry side of the game. Another was Ancient Remains. Do they have any future plans with Scholar Points? And they really don't have any plans moving forward using Scholar Points other than having a better optimization direction. I think one thing they should definitely do, what everyone could agree on, is allowing you to open up the Ancient Remains more than, maybe in a stack at a time instead of just one at a time. It just takes forever and ever, especially if you got hundreds and hundreds of these Ancient Remains you're trying to open up to complete the collection. The other, again, was pointing out that the Explorer frigates only have 2 mid-slots, and obviously if you have 2 mid-slots, you cannot run both the scanner, relic analyzer, and data analyzer. They need that 3rd slot to be able to access all of the sites possible. The devs said they will consider this, adding that other mid-slot to those exploration frigates within the next balance patch later on. And the last one was about adding a ore refinery structure for Sov bearing citadels. The devs said they're going to consider this, adding an ore refinery or also a ore compression station that could reduce fuel consumption in the future. Interesting enough, we've seen a mini event come up this week. It's running, I believe, for the next week or so, about Void Space. Now, they're not talking about Void Space and Innsmother, with the Catskill Cartel and Captain Benzie. They are talking about a special relic site that you have to go in, scan down, and examine, and it's going to give you 3 types of wrecks. An intact, a crumbling, I believe, and a debris. I forget exactly what it is. But there's these 3 wrecks that you get from this site. And all you're going to do is you're going to turn it in for these news missions. They first started off on the auction, on the market board for about 10 billion. They've since then come down in price. But these may be the planting of seeds for the Youngjun faction that we hope to see in the next coming months. Their new ships. We've had the Canyu, we've had the other one for a long time. We want to see the actual ships and the actual faction. Now, I remember talking to the devs about this a long time ago, and the plans were, since every faction has its own space, that they're going to take those drone lands out in the, I believe it's the east or west. Those drone lands are going to be turned into the Youngjun faction space. However, if they are going to bring that faction in, and we do have capitals coming very soon, we might actually see the faction dreadnought of the young June. Here are the pictures of them here. That would be very cool to see this come in. It would be currently the only faction capital, since I don't think there are any other faction capitals. I mean, there are faction super caps in EVA Online. I don't know if we're going to see those or when we're going to see those, but it is something to keep an eye out in the future for. In your Plex market report, we have seen Plex drop back down to a 1.3 million per Plex status, down from the 3 million that was trading a week ago. I think I can safely say that this is going to be the new norm, between 1 to 3 million per Plex on any given cycle. War has returned to New Eden as the Silent Federation has officially declared war upon Pantheon. Now, this just happened within the last 24 to 48 hours, but to understand exactly how this came to be, we have to look earlier to see exactly what was going on. Now, earlier in the week, I did reach out to both Sunbanana as well as Nihilus, both the heads of Pantheon and Silent Federation, to get a state of play from them and exactly what is going on between the two of them, militarily as well as diplomatically. So I asked Sunbanana about that relationship militarily as well as diplomatically, if he could comment on exactly what's going on, as well as a maneuver that happened this week where Pantheon sent forces into no please stop soft space to take down an armor timer and was stopped by a Silent fleet. Sunbanana answers, he says, Silent is hitting us quite hard, with no conveniently in the same system hitting our citadels at the same time. They burn our bridges and do all kinds of war aggressions 24/7. With Pantheon returning and writing people that his goal is to provoke a war between Pantheon and Silent. But that's not his only goal. Nihilus thinks he can get something from a war between Pantheon and Silent. We frankly don't care about the North and won't claim any Sov or whatever, even if Silent happens to disappear in the future. Now, the battle I referred to earlier was a Pantheon fleet moving in to strip the armor timer off of a no citadel, when they were met with a Silent, I believe it was a Scepter fleet, that asked them to turn around and leave the North space. When Pantheon declined, both fleets attacked each other, and the Silent fleet had wiped the Pantheon fleet from the grid, seemingly to protect no please stop soft space. However, as you'll see in a statement by Nihilus, that this was not the case, that the no fleet that had returned to defend their own citadel was attacked by Silent forces. However, Silent did not attack the citadel, as they had no interest in having structured warfare with no. So I reached out to Nihilus with the same question about the current relationship between Silent Federation and Pantheon militarily as well as diplomatically. And he states that we have clear indications that there are deployments to the northern regions of the map under the guise of hitting no structures. Silent has no interest in having large fleets run rampant in the north unchecked, especially given the history of Pantheon. The deployment to hit no structures, combined with the 30 to 40 man fleets in Silent Federation space, along with corps such as TCOS hitting capsular outposts and branch, shows that Pantheon's statements about not having interest against Silent are not true. And in his response to the attack and protection of Nov Soft space, he states, when our intel alerted us that a Pantheon fleet was coming to Vale to bash a no citadel, we intercepted it and will continue to do so. Future deployments in the north will be met with the same result. As an aside, we also engaged the no fleet defending their structure. That was the no fleet defending their own personal Sov structure, not Pantheon, not Silence. Now, that was the stance that both were taking up until about 24 to 48 hours ago, when after a fireside chat released by Pantheon, Silent basically led an official declaration of war against Pantheon, both on their Discord as well as a Reddit thread, putting the entire server on notice. Manga states that in the end, a war was inevitable. Silent pilots are happiest fighting active offensive wars. This was a decision made to take the fight full on and not sit and react. It was very apparent after reviewing the intel and listening to the fireside that aggression from Pantheon was coming, and the move to do this now made more sense than ever. I also asked him about the rumored blue status between No, Please Stop, and the Silent Federation. He states that there is no blue status between No and Silent. We have removed standings with No, and a not blue shoot it is basically the same as, red status. However, if you look at the activities within the last 24 hours, this actually proves as false, as No, Please Stop is coordinating with Silent on the offensive attacks against Pantheon. Now, in the official announcement made through the Silent Federation, it's basically saying that they are going to war, and this war isn't about territory, it's not about Sov, it's not about betrayal or even about aggression. It's about progression. They basically see Pantheon as the end-level boss of New Eden, claiming that they paint themselves as both heroes and victims of the people who always win, of the people who are always slandered or are slighted. They go on to say that they will beat Pantheon and farm them for their content, as well as stating that they just finished the war with Fireflies and they know how that went. Now, as you can see, they state here that they are only going to war with Pantheon. There is no mention of Pantheon's allies, Catch-22, or Genesis Federation. However, in an announcement also made by Tahini to No, Please Stop, the message kind of gets a little construed. They basically say that that Pantheon has announced war with No, Please Stop, and that Silent has declared war on Pangen, which is false. They go on to say where they're going to deploy to Ned for all future operations, and they will call in their second alliance yet in to see if they will lend a hand as well. But the curious thing is saying that they will be joining Silent on the offensive, so they will be working together. So it does raise those questions of blue status between the two groups. Or is Silent paying No for their services? Now, since this declaration, there have been a few skirmishes as well as large battles between all groups aside. Now, before we get to those battles, I did reach out to Mamasaurus Rex, the head of Genesis Federation, on her take on the current war declaration, as well as the intentions of Genesis in this upcoming war. Mama goes on to state that they will be protecting Pantheon as they were stout allies in their last war, and it would only serve them right to back them on their defensive plays. So we could be looking at the start of a full-blown server-wide war. Now, before we get to those battles again, I do want to make a note that Colt, the leader of No, Please Stop, and Tahini, the head FC of No, Please Stop, have both gone on record that they don't believe that this war will go on for a very long time. Colt has said that this war should last about a month, where Tahini basically said for basically around a week. Now, if anyone remembers the last few server wars, these wars drag on for a very long time. The Pangen 22 war against the Content Coalition lasted roughly around 10 months long, whereas the Northern war against Fireflies between Silent Federation and Fireflies, that lasted roughly between 6 to 8 months long. So I don't see this war ending anytime soon. Now, in the battles that happened within the last 24 to 48 hours, there were several CTAs called. One on the K4 Citadel in Delve, belonging to Genesis Federation, who protected it against a No, Please Stop fleet. They did a mousetrap maneuver and was able to catch the No fleet on a gate and deleted several of their battleships, and that timer was defended. The fleet then moved into Fountain to help protect Pantheon Citadel timers. There was no large fights during this, just posturing on all sides. However, during that time, when everyone was just kind of sitting there. I have been informed that there were several scepter fleets led by Honk and No, who consequently are blue with each other, even though they state that No is not blue with Silent. So you have those forces working together as well. Now, these scepter fleets roamed through Fountain and stripped timers across several citadels, whose timers were revisited after that 24-hour period, and we're going to get to that fight in a minute. Now, the numbers of the deployments defending the initial timers were the Pantheon forces were about 550, the Silent Federation and Honk forces were around 375, and the No Scepter fleet consisted of 150. Now, there was a large battle today in YAW Tech 7M in Delve, where a Citadel's armor timer, were stripped away by a No Silent fleet. The Pantheon fleet did defend and was unfortunately wiped out, as the timer itself was stripped away. Now, there will be a link to the battle video in the description below if you'd like to give a watch. Now, I have noticed a few other things of note due to this declaration of war, one of which was the corporation MAG, M-A-G, had left Silent Federation. I am told by a source within Silent that the corporation actually left before the declaration. There is also another corp that I'm aware of that is leaving the Silent Federation. However, they have not made their announcement just yet, so I can't break that story. So we will be keeping a close eye on this story as it develops within the days and weeks to come. I'm sure that we'll see many fights among citadels. We will probably see some of these citadels deleted, and we will actually see that Intenosis link in use if the citadel is stripped down. Now we're going to move on to another ally of Pantheon, Catch-22, who is also dealing with issues, as they have just laid Sov down in 2PG and Teneferus. However, they are running resistance into resistance from SCG, who claims the entire region as their own territory. Now, it will be interesting to see exactly how Catch-22 balances defending their new Sov space as well as helping their allies in this current war moving forward. And since we were speaking of the Silent Federation, let's take note that Elandria's Corp, the Sith Collective, has actually left Silent and has decided to join No Please Stop. In your mercenary news, the Sixth Seal Alliance has lost one corporation and has gained another. The corporation that left was called Nomadic Nightmare. A member of that you may know as Gorilla Glue, who is often on the solo kill mail contest here each week. They have parted ways with the Sixth Seal Alliance, going solo. So if you're ever looking for a smaller entity for your merc contract needs, you can contact them. The other corporation that joined Sixth Seal Alliance this past week has been Mug, who is a very PvP-oriented corporation, and as you've seen, they often appear on both the solo kill mail list as well as the big kills of the week. So good on them for adding to their power base, the Sixth Seal Alliance. In other news this week, the No Please Stop industry decides to kill a POS using only Ventures. There is an amusing video. It will be in the description below if you'd like to give it a watch. It's good to see that industry is hard at work wherever it is in Eve Echoes in New Eden. And this week in our Corp Allaince Spotlight, we come to none other than the corporation I belong to, Evolution X, otherwise known as Evo 1. Yes, it is a shameless plug. However, I would like to put it out there that Evo 1 is looking for PvP-centric pilots. However, we are not discouraging any other pilots. We are also looking for pilots who are interested in industry as well. We welcome all tech levels. We reside in Genesis Federation space in Esoteria. We have a tech level 10 system, a Citadel, as well as many other amenities that could help you in your career path in New Eden. Evo 1 flies throughout all time zones. We are happy fighting in all sectors, as well. That includes nullsec, big large space battles, as well as small gang warfare and roams throughout null and low sec. We strive to be a drama-less corporation, but very heavy centric into PvP. So PvP first, industry and everything else second. We like to have a good time and do what we want, kill who we will. We are also not above taking the occasional mercenary contract as well. So if you're looking for a great group of guys and gals to fly with, please contact Freya Bloodlust or SunnyP. Their Discord names will be in the description below, as well as a link to the Evo 1 Discord server. And of course, you get to fly with me. I mean, what else could you ask for? So definitely hit us up for some great fun and frivolity and plenty of targets to shoot at. And we come to, I used to do a pilot spotlight, but we're going to change this to WTF. That is, what the fit. Now, this week featured on What the Fit, we have this Macario sporting missiles, which is very odd. That's right, we got C-type missiles on this Macario. I believe the kill is 3.6 billion, but it was a very surprising kill on this. And if you do have any more of these crazy kills out there with these weird fits, feel free to send them to me and they will be featured here in What the Fit. Now, we do have one honorable mention before we move on to the big kills and the solo kills of the week, and that is to Daxia to the Maxia on losing his third Stratios in as many weeks. That's right, each week that has passed over the last 3 weeks, this man has lost a Stratios, usually ranging between 7 to 10 billion on each kill. Congratulations, Daxia. Look forward to seeing your kill mail of your next Stratios next week. And next we move on to the big kills of the week. We have OG starting us off with this 3.7 billion Badger kill. Genesis hits the list with a 3.2 billion Gila kill. 2 Vindicators, both at 5.1 billion. A 5.1 billion Rattlesnake kill. 2 Macarios at 3.6 billion and 4.8 billion. A 4 billion Balgorn and a 4.9 billion Nightmare kill. 6 Seal hits the list with a 3.4 billion Macario kill, a 5 billion Balgorn kill, a 3.6 billion Raven Striker kill, and a 6.3 billion Dami 2. Beast of the South has 3 Vindicators this week at 5 billion, 4.5 billion, and 5.2 billion. 3 Rattlesnake kills at 4.9, 5.1, and 4.3. 2 Macarios at 3.9 and 3.2, and a 5.4 billion Balgorn kill, as well as a 3.8 billion Coveter 2 kill, and a 5.5 billion Charon Freighter kill. Now, as we've shown each week, No Please Stop always scores lots of kills. However, the one we're going to just look at this week is a massive 12.8 billion Vigilant kill. Now, this Vigilant kill is with full integrated rigs. As you can see, some care and love went into crafting of this ship. To give you a difference between the pricing of this one and another one, here is my Walmart brand Vigilant. As you can see, huge difference in the pricing. And for all those who don't know, these integrated rigs, when you do get killed, you will get the integrated rig back. However, the rigs that you put into the integrated rig will not drop. You will not receive those back through your insurance. So be care when using integrated rigs for PvP. Wild Geese hits us with a 5 billion Nightmare kill, as well as a 3.6 billion Macario kill. And Bant closes us out with a 8.8 billion Orthus kill. Now we move on to everyone's favorite portion of the week. That is the solo kills of the week and a chance at winning a duo Omega combo. Let's start us off with Fos Jean with a 2.023 billion Coveter 2 kill. Now, I just want to make this known, there are a lot of industrial kills on this list this week. Delta Alpha comes next with a 2.024 Coveter 2 kill. Augie Augie Oi Oi with a 2.040 billion Coveter 2 kill. Karistan with a 2.044 billion Covetor 2 kill. Mystery Meow with a 2.061 billion Covetor 2 kill. And as we move away from the industrials, we have Ilkhan Rygart with a 2.284 billion Megathron Striker kill. The Candymon 131 with a 2.481 billion Atron Interceptor kill. Wolfrun with a 2.483 billion Terror kill. Yes, please don't stop with his 2.6 billion Garmer kill. Oppid Jr. with a 4 billion Astero kill. And our winner of this week's Omega combo is Guk Bazip with a 10.2 billion Terror kill. Congratulations on your victory. Please contact me on Discord to receive your prize. Now, if you need more news in your life, I suggest you walk on over and check out Sky News, Russia's premier Eve Echoes news outlet. They have a great production team over there. Their videos I've just started cranking out again. They are primarily in Russian, however, there are English subtitles to enjoy. And also check out the ever popular Rambo's podcast, The Echoes of New Eden, where he has roundtable discussions every single week with members of the community, as well as a featured interview with a celebrity of the community each and every week. And that does it for us here. Now, next week's video may be a little bit delayed. I am on vacation from work starting today, so things will be a little hectic. I will try and get one out within the next week. But again, for me, fly safe, have a great weekend, have a great week. Remember, we are always one vision, one purpose, one front. War is good for business.